Hey everybody, it's Welcome Back to America. We're back in studio. We haven't been here together since like May, like Memorial Day. It's crazy. I've missed you, Millie.
I've missed you too, Dan.
It's been a long time since we've actually seen each other in person, and I'm very lucky to have Millie back.
Aw, thank you,
Because
Dan.
they told me you were dead.
I was, but I came back.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing game shows. That's today's theme. We're going to chat about game shows. We've got some game show producers and hosts we're going to talk to. We're going to check out what Clemenzia is up to in the UK. She's got some gossip for us. And we have our old intern, Russ? Ross Renier. He's doing, we're talking the bottom 10 game shows of all time, the worst game shows. But right now, we're going to talk about the history of game shows.
Oh, good.
Yeah. The game show,
Yeah.
as far as we know it right now, the way that we understand it, was first invented for the radio in the 30s. And they were call-in things and very
Yes.
simple things until TV came about, and then they started doing some live game shows.
Yes, back in the 40s. But then it became really big in the 60s with Truth or Dare.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was a biggie. A lot of panels, and what else was there?
Those panel shows, yes, I love watching those on like the Game Show Network. Those
Yeah.
panel shows where it's like Paul Lynn and Charles Nelson Riley
The
and
Squares,
Betty
like
White.
Squares.
Oh, Hollywood Squares.
Squares.
Hollywood Squares was a lot of fun. I remember the one from the 80s though. I did the Shadow Stevens, John Davidson years. The Grand Wagoneer years.
I do not know it.
That was their big prize, was the Grand Wagoneer. They had all these cars, and the big car that you could win was the Grand Wagoneer,
Wow.
which by today's standards is a piece of...
Pinto.
Yeah, it's a Pinto. It really is.
They don't even make Pintos
I
anymore.
know, but I see them all the time. I see Grand Wagoneers all the time, and they must have had an issue with rust, because almost all of them are rusted. I see a lot of them out in L.A., too.
Wow.
So, game shows, Bob Stewart. That was the name of the guy who invented the game show.
Wow.
Bob Stewart, and he did things like The Price is Right.
I love The Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
Woo! Those contestants get crazy.
They get
don't they?
crazy. They put them
Love
on.
it.
They must be on meth or something.
Yeah,
all
or
these
just
years.
maybe coffee.
Or maybe coffee. I've known two people who won showcase showdowns on The Price is Right. I've met two.
Wow.
One woman I interned with a while back, and they just sold the stuff. They sold the stuff back afterwards.
Wow. Well, that's good. Get the money.
Yeah.
Taxes. You have to pay a lot of taxes.
He also invented, I think, Match Game. Match Game was one of his great bops.
I love Match Game.
Match Game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he must have been fun at home playing games. You know, if he.
Or like he didn't like bringing work home, and it was just awful. Like if you even brought up games, he'd freak out.
Yeah, the family was mean and didn't want to play games like my house.
Right. If you've ever seen Magnolia, I believe there's a character in it who's a game show host, and it turns out he's dying of cancer, and he abused.
Yes. Tom Cruise.
Right. No. That's not Tom Cruise's character. The character was the game show. He was an inspirational speaker for men. Who brought up men's egos and tried to. But this guy, I forgot his real name, but he was the game show host, and he had abused his daughter, and he was dying of cancer, and.
I missed that one.
Uplifting. The character that produced the game show in that movie is based on Bob Stewart.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Took me a while to get there.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Barker, another great host.
Oh, yes.
Another great game show host.
Yes.
Actually saw him in Larchmont by Hancock Park out in L.A. And I was with my girlfriend at the time, and he comes up to me and her in a store, and is like, "Have you seen my wife?"
And you were like, "Is this a new game?"
He was like, "Is that a new game show? Have you seen my wife?" That's great. He was having a senile moment though.
Aww.
And I wouldn't want to make fun of that.
Maybe the puppies took his breath away or something.
Like, why would I know who his wife was? I just assumed that she would be one of the models on the show.
Sure.
He slept with a lot of them.
Yeah, why
what I heard.
not? Why not?
That's my
Save the
understanding.
puppies and sleep with a model.
In addition, we've got hosts like Pat Sajak. Pat Sajak makes $15 million a year.
Did you know he's 74?
Yeah, he's 74 years old. And Vanna White is 64.
See, and they look
And they look exactly the same age.
do.
They both look 20. They both
They
look
do.
20, 25.
Yeah, I don't think so, but
She's had more facelifts than insert joke here. I don't know what you could say about that.
than an LA person.
And you know who even though we're not really talking about talk shows, but I think this is very interesting because Ellen has hosted game shows. And
Games of games, what is it?
yeah, we have some pictures up here. We have some game show pictures that Ellen's in one of them. There's the match game. We got
Yeah.
the match game right
Match
there.
game.
The favorite thing about the match game was the big long microphone, the skinny
Yes.
microphone that was popular in the 70s for some reason.
But they have Alec Baldwin using the.
He's doing it now.
He does it. See, they still have the same microphone.
The same microphone.
Yes.
I think it's because you can hold your hand lower.
Well, right,
and you can see more of someone's body. It gets sort of
Yes.
obscured.
And it's also a stir because they have an open bar.
Right. It could be a vape too. You could vape it a certain way. It could
Sure.
also
Or a back scratcher.
or just a chocolate on top and you eat it.
Hello,
Of course.
Andy Cohen.
Andy Cohen, Love Connection, like that guy. That guy knows about love.
Yes, he does.
Him and Anderson Cooper, they love. They're love.
And who was that? Chuck Woolery was
Chuck Woolery was
original.
yes, 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
2 and 2. He was great. He had great hair. And then of course Ellen. Ellen makes $50 million a year.
Look at us, how sadistic.
Yeah, it does. They
She
did something.
loved.
They did something to
Yeah,
her.
yeah, they did something.
They-
She loved dropping the people down to the basement. She's like, not yet, now.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
I would
okay.
imagine just something. Well, she's a
Yeah.
comedian, you know.
Well,
There's
she
all
lives with Portia. Portia's very serious.
there's all a bit of,
Yeah.
and there, of course, Bob Barker with the show.
There's me. I'm back there in the blue. I don't know if you see.
The great thing about this show is it really hasn't changed much. Like even the different events they have, the guy going up the hill, the mountain climber going up, they still have a lot of
Yes.
this. What is that, Plinko? Plinko's popular.
Look at this is what I'm talking about with the excited contestants. That woman, she levitated.
Well, she actually won the Showcase Showdown, too.
Drew
That's what that
Carey.
suggests to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
But
picture.
she got a 90.
And Drew Carey is a great host. He's a very funny guy.
He looks like he's going to climb a mountain.
Yeah,
after
he's
some-
very excited. I would be excited too, but you never know what you're winning. Like the 9,000th episode. That's a picture
doesn't-
from the 9,000th episode.
Wow, it doesn't matter because you just get picked. You just go crazy.
Right, yeah, I guess. And of course,
Oh.
Howie Mandel, I loved as a comedian coming up in the 80s and 90s
Yes,
watching him.
yes.
He was
Bobby.
great, but he didn't get his real success until the last 10 years. 12 years? That's when his real success, Deal or No Deal, at
even-
America's Got Talent.
Even though I like when he used to put the glove on his head,
On his head, and
the
Yes.
Westbury.
Howie from Maui.
And Morgan Makel, she was on the show.
Oh, she was?
Yes.
See, I totally thought that was Shibley Quarterman. I thought that was actually a
Really?
comedian I know. It looks so much like her.
No. So I can tell Harry must have liked her because of her briefcase.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
That was a nice
That she was on
briefcase.
that. That's really
You didn't
interesting.
know that?
No, I did see a video recently of her and Harry hanging out somewhere, and they're close, and Harry's sort of doting on her and smiling. But she looks
she had
like
the briefcase?
she looks like a robot.
Oh.
Like it's like really like more than I've ever seen it. It was like,
Yeah.
and it's all over the net, and they can change anything with videos and stuff.
Yeah. Poor Megan.
Poor Megan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Megan.
Poor Megan. Miss Royal.
One of the other popular game shows, I don't know if you've watched recently, Craig Ferguson doing The
No, I
Hustler.
didn't watch that, but I watched who's the one? Leslie. Who's Leslie from Supermarket Sweep?
Oh, Supermarket Sweep. That's a fun one.
Leslie, I forgot her last name. From
Uggams?
S&M.
Uggams?
Yeah, it's from Uggams.
S&M?
SNL.
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 I think you said S&M. Pretty
Well,
sure you did.
she might be on that show too, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't watch that so much,
Yeah.
but I did watch the Hustler recently, and that's like Clue, and I love Craig Ferguson.
Yes, I love Craig Ferguson too. He's very funny.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
I like he's Irish, right? I don't want to accidentally call him British. He's one of those things. I'm pretty sure Craig Ferguson's Scottish, actually.
He is Scottish. That's it.
Yeah, he's that other
Scottish.
thing. And remember, it was one of the funniest things. They've done so many parodies throughout history of game shows, but one of the most memorable, of course, is Will Ferrell on Jeopardy,
On S&M.
on S&M,
SNL.
on Jeopardy, on S&M, as Will Ferrell, as Alex Trebek. I don't know what I'm talking
And
about.
who always played what's his name that we were saying?
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery.
Darrell
He's like,
yeah.
I'll take titties for 400, and he's like, that's the titles.
It's some of the funniest jokes come out of that. And then they did the Black Jeopardy with Kenan Thompson.
Which is so funny.
And it's just so funny. I mean, it really is. And it's such a different take. He's not trying to do an Alex Trebek impression. He's just doing, he's like your neighbor. He's like,
Yeah.
your uncle sort of kind of
Yes,
character.
he's like my black neighbor.
And
Cousin.
I said yearly before that Ellen was the highest paid yearly. She's the highest paid yearly, but the person who's made the most money from game shows throughout history is Merv Griffin.
Wow.
Merv Griffith.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is he still alive?
Merv? No, he's been dead a while.
Oh.
I think like 20, 30 years.
Wasn't he married to Diana Shore or someone?
Dinah Shore, probably. Wasn't Burt Reynolds loved her?
I only know Merv Griffith from Seinfeld when they had the set.
I don't
They had
remember.
the Merv Griffith set.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh.
Kramer.
Well,
Kramer was the Merv Griffith part.
and one you brought up while we were talking before, Cash Cab.
Cash
I
Cab.
probably
Ben
watched
Bailey.
more Cash Cab in the last few years than any other game show.
I love Cash Cab.
Ca-
Whenever I go to Manhattan and I'm going to grab a cab, I'm like, are you a Cash Cab? And they're like, we take debit too.
Right? That's a good joke. They actually they set those up beforehand.
That breaks my
They
heart.
pre-plan all of it, and they tell people where to wait. I've known a couple of people who've been on that show.
Oh, boy. I would love to be in the Cash Cab.
And I had a game show experience myself.
You did?
I did. I was on an Oprah Winfrey game show called Are You Normal America? And I was a panelist. This game show was horrible. There were so many levels to this game show, and it was so confusing. There were 10 panelists, 3 players, 3 contestants. Then they used the audience, and then they'd go home to people's houses and do video.
Wow.
And it was hosted by 3 people, Sherry Shepard and 2 other guys I can't remember. But I got on that show because of my Teddy Roosevelt story about losing my virginity on Teddy Roosevelt's lawn.
Yes.
And I told that story, and I added a piece afterwards that they didn't know I was going to. I said bully after I finished.
Oh.
And afterwards, while I was walking out, one of the producers was talking to someone else, and they made sure that I heard them say, I hate when contestants improvise.
Wow.
It was the funniest moment, though. It was like the audience laughed, everyone loved it.
And it was Oprah.
was
You're
Oprah.
improvising!
And the best thing about that whole story is that Oprah Winfrey had to hear my story about losing my virginity on Teddy Roosevelt's lawn.
That is
She had to have
awesome.
heard that.
That's
Yeah.
great. And her and Gail, they talked and drank their margaritas
they
and
drank their
enjoyed. They
margaritas.
talked about you.
Then, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You wanted to talk about
Yes,
that?
I want to be a millionaire. Regis.
Yeah, Regis. I used to be not a contestant, but I was in the audience for many episodes of Who
You
Wants
do
to Be.
many things, DB.
Long time ago.
Many.
Yes. Well, that's what happens when you don't have children.
Well, I used to go to talk shows.
Oh, so did I. I would.
Like Phil Donahue.
Yeah, I loved watching those.
Geraldo.
I would do
Sally
a few.
Jesse Raphael.
They pay people. Until Judge Judy quit, they were paying people like $75 to go see
They
Judge
didn't
Judy.
pay me anything.
They paid
It's-
people to see the Steve Belko. What is that? The one who was on Jerry Springer?
Oh, Steve, yeah.
Wilkos, whatever
Yeah,
his name is.
that's it,
Yeah,
Wilkos.
Steve Wilkos. They pay people $75 to sit in
Wow,
that
no one
audience.
paid me. We had somebody try to pick us up when we were on Phil Donahue line, this guy. And then we get into the audience, ends up, he's on stage for having herpes.
Oh.
Thanks for trying to pick us up.
Well, he and I had that in common. Thank you, Millie, so much for all of that. This has been a
Dan.
great conversation. It's been
Yes.
so long since we've been here. I really
Yes.
miss this, and I look forward to
Me too.
continuing it.
Yes.
We've got a lot of show for you.
Lots.
We've got Clemenzia coming up with some more UK gossip. Me and Ross are going to have a conversation about the worst game shows of all time. And then we have James Mack and Keno Williams, Dr. D, and they're going to talk about a game show that they produce and host called Wingin' It. So stay tuned for all of that, and we'll be back right after these commercials.
See you then. Bye. I want to win $1 million.
I don't.
I
Who
do.
wants $1 million?
I'll give you some if I win.
$1 million is stupid.
It's not stupid.
Money is stupid.
Money's good.
Stupid.
It's not stupid.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out Welcome Back to America. I am DB Frick. Once again, we are here with Clemenzia out from the UK. She's brought us some gossip and some game show stuff. We're going to do a little trivia. So thanks for coming down, Clemenzia. How are you doing?
Absolutely fine, DB. It's so lovely to see you again. How is everything with you?
America is great. We stopped spelling it with 3 Ks, so things are going well. Things are going well. I hear there's a lot going on out there in the UK. There always is. There's always a lot of news, and there's a lot of gossip. Meghan and Harry just recently got nominated for an Emmy for their interview with Oprah.
Yes. What category was that, DB? Was that the comedy category, or was it the fiction category? I'm unsure.
I think it was the most outstanding interview or special outstanding. No, I'm not really sure. I think the acronym is Oh No's. They won the Oh No.
Oh no. Well, that's what we all said here, isn't it? Oh no.
So what's going on out there, gossip-wise? What do you have for us?
Well, DB, the latest scandal at the palace is that Prince Charles has blocked Prince Edward from receiving the title of Duke of Edinburgh. And Prince Edward is absolutely livid. Indeed, he was promised the title way back when he married Sophie in 1999. And now that the real Duke of Edinburgh has popped his clods, he is very excited to receive this honor. But it's not going to happen because Prince Charles is not giving it away. I don't know why. But royal watchers have been assured that he will instead receive a strawberry lollipop and a book token worth $9.99. With that, you could buy this book.
I will send away for it today. Yeah, that looks like a good read.
Other news is that the summer season has kicked off in England. Yes, we've had Ascot and Wimbledon and the Euro footballs. I think you call it soccer over there. Anyway, it was a great success because it was the top super spreader event of COVID in the world.
Exciting.
Literally thousands of fans tested positive after attending the matches at Wembley. We may not have won the finals, DB, but we can win at being the country with the highest rate of COVID per capita.
Yeah, well, we're catching up with you. That's for definite. What else is going on out there in the world of the queens and kings?
Well, funny you should ask, because Tom Cruise has been filming in England. He was both at Wimbledon and the Euro finals on the same day. He's filming Mission Impossible episode 249. And he flew in by helicopter from Wimbledon directly into Wembley Stadium. I'm surprised he didn't descend from the helicopter onto the football pitch. But no, he walked in through one of the doors like a normal person. What a disappointment.
Yeah, it's boring. That's really boring. Yeah. That's how he did it. He needs to be more exciting. Start jumping up on couches again. That's what he
yes, I do remember that. He's a very excitable young lad. I heard he has a penchant for screaming at his crew.
I've heard that he loves to yell at his people. But if I had people, I would love to yell at them too. So, I'm sure you love to yell at your people.
Oh, no, in English we do things in a very roundabout, passive-aggressive manner.
Oh.
Tom Cruise, yes, he may be short, but, he's a very angry little man, I hear, yes.
Right, yes, he's short and he's short. He can get angry really fast, and he's small.
Good one, DB.
So I hear you have some trivia for us, some UK trivia. I'm very, very smart, as you know, so I think I'm going to do pretty well no matter what, so I would love to hear some of those questions you got.
Oh, we do love a quiz. We love a quiz, DB. Such larks. Well, it just so happens I have a bespoke royal quiz prepared for you. And not only that, I've got a little gizmo for when you answer a question incorrectly or when you answer it correctly. So here follow a few questions for you, DB. Are you ready?
I am ready. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that negative sound at all. I'm going to get all these right.
I hope not. Here we go. Question number 1. And this is a trick question. Which monarch abdicated the throne to marry a divorced American social climber? Was it Prince Harry, Edward VIII, or Richard the Lionheart?
Oh, I know this. That's Richard Lionheart. Definitely.
Sorry, darling, you've got it wrong. The answer is Edward VIII. Never mind, you still have a chance to redeem yourself. Here we go. Question number 2. Approximately how many corgis has the Queen owned during her reign? Is it 17, 30, or 472?
I really hope it's 472. I'm going with 472.
Unfortunately not. I'm afraid it's 30. 472 would be a lot of dog poop to scoop.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Question number 3. Who was Prince Harry's best man at his wedding? Was it Tom Cruise, Prince William, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, or Vladimir Putin?
Oh, it's Vladimir Putin. Definitely. He had to be Russian. I know that. What? Really?
I'm afraid not. That's why we're all still alive. He didn't manage to poison us all. Here we go. Here's the last question. Oh, the answer, by the way, was Prince William, of course. Ironic, huh?
Yeah.
Here we go. Who was criticized for wearing diamond earrings given by the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman after he had ordered Jamal Khashoggi's murder? Was it Princess Michael of Kent, Princess Eugene, or Meghan Markle?
Michael of Kent, definitely.
Almost, but I'm afraid incorrect, DB. The answer was Meghan Markle, the naughty little minx. Couldn't resist showing off those diamonds, eh?
So how many did I get right?
Darling, you got them all wrong. Had you got them all right, I would have given you a prize. I would have given you a cottage on the Frogmore estate. Never mind. You get a booby prize, and it's this. It is a silver trinket actually given to the Queen last year from Prince Crown Mohammed bin Salman after a horse race. We don't know what it does, but it's being FedExed to you in the morning. She won't miss it. She's got plenty.
That was, I appreciate it. I look forward to getting that in the mail. I feel really stupid right now. But Clemenzia, thanks for coming down. I really appreciate the time that you have spent with us here at Welcome Back to America. Is there anywhere that people can go to see you elsewhere?
Oh, well, how kind of you to ask, DB. I do have a YouTube channel, Clemenzia von Trunksale, and I will be setting up a website. Yes, I'm coming into the 20th century.
21st. We're in the 21st century.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Okay. Thanks for coming down. We are Welcome Back to America. Stay tuned for these commercials here. We've got a great interview coming up with James Mack and Dr. D. So stay tuned. Hey there out there. How's everybody doing? I am DB Frick. This is Welcome Back to America with DB Frick and the Not Quite Ready for Jihad players. One of those players is here tonight. He's been on the show before. We've had a few conversations. He's guest hosted. Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Renier. Thanks for coming down today.
Thank you.
Ross and I are going to chat about, obviously this episode is about game shows. So Ross and I are going to talk about some of the worst game shows in history, and there are a lot of bad ones out there. One of the first ones that come to mind for me, and it's not so much that the game was bad, but Classic Concentration. Classic Concentration was hosted by Alex Trebek. So whenever I see it, I immediately think, oh, this is Jeopardy! And then I'm disappointed because it's not Jeopardy!
Nothing's in the form of a question.
Nothing's in the form of a question. It's all about concentrating. You just have to be the one who concentrates the most. That's me concentrating.
You won.
I won. So I didn't, that wasn't one of my favorites. It always took me out of like my reality of Alex Trebek only did that. Like I imagine him being born, white hair, suit, and he was doing Jeopardy from birth. That's so I don't like Classic Concentration. What's one of the game shows that you're not a big fan of out there?
I mean, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It was like on every day, every like 2 hours a day for like a year. And it was
always
like,
on. Yes.
Regis. It was like the color of his shirt matched the color of the tie, matched the color of the suit. That's what it was about. There was nothing else on ABC for like a year.
And then Meredith Vieira took over. She started doing it in the afternoon.
Yes.
Meredith Vieira or Katie Kirk, one of those two.
I think it was Meredith Vieira.
Hosting it in the afternoon because Regis was really too old to do anything by then.
Well, the questions would last for like 20 minutes. They would be just sitting there deciding what they were going, I have it narrowed down to 3 of the 4. Okay, great. Let's just keep it,
That's one of the reasons it was always hard to watch the Howie Mandel 100, the 1 to 100 briefcases. And it was always like, there's not much to it. You don't have to be very smart. You don't have to really know anything. You don't even really need to know how to count. You don't.
Just deal or no deal. That's the only thing. Is it a deal or is it not a deal?
Just say a number. But I didn't hate that game. I like Howie Mandel. One of them you brought up before we started recording, Supermarket Sweep, which isn't so bad. But I always thought it was it made me think of going to shopping with my mom when I was young. And I hated shopping. So I would have loved to have gone through it as fast as they did. Like you get there with mom and you run through the whole thing.
Yeah. The shopping was like a marathon event. Let's start at this aisle, put every item in one by what's on the list. Oh, I have to call home. Dad has the list. Here we go. Is it 2%? What are we getting?
2%, 1%. That's right. That's always because that's what the cottage cheese and all dairy products. No, 1, 2, 3, 4%. It's only so you bring home the wrong one. They want you to bring home the wrong one. That's what it's all about. So I don't know if you remember this one. Do you remember Legends of the Hidden Temple?
I do remember that. I think I might have been like 5 minutes too old to have like seen it when it was first on, but I remember seeing it in reruns because I was probably watching reruns of Double Dare at that point. But,
right, Double Dare was one of the best, no doubt. Double Dare was great, but Legends of the Hidden Temple, I think, was trying to gain traction because the Temple of Doom had just come out.
Yeah,
like I think the game was probably like mid '90s that this game was out there, and I like the idea of running through a temple. But it's not really a temple.
Yeah.
Because if it was, somebody would be getting pissed about it, and there would be some very staunch religious person that didn't want you running through a temple and having. But that would be much more interesting. Like if they went to that island where those people are allowed to kill people who come to their island. That island? Like if people come there, they're allowed to kill.
Is that Survivor? No, that's a different show.
It's New York City. No, there's an island out there where a guy went to like do a documentary, and the natives killed him, and like nobody's going in to do anything about it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, because they weren't supposed to be seen or something. Like they were like, you're not supposed to film here because nobody's seen us.
Right, something like that, and they killed him. And it is very Indiana Jones. It's a very Indiana Jones moment where he's running from that tribe in the first scene of the movie and gets on a plane and the snakes. How about this game? You may not even know this one. You may not remember this one, but I do. And it was hosted by Mark Wahlberg, and it was called The Moment of Truth.
A different Mark Wahlberg, though, right? The game show Mark Wahlberg.
Game show Mark Wahlberg. Yes. I wish it was. Come on, feel it. Which, by the way, when we were interning at Conan, and Mark Wahlberg was on it as a guest, we were told specifically not to talk about the album at all. Like, don't talk about Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh, that's why he's there, really.
Right. Yeah.
He wouldn't be on the show if it wasn't Marky Mark.
The Moment of Truth was essentially they put you on a lie detector test, and they measured your heart rate as you answered questions. And if you could basically lie, you win. So it was really just an effort to teach people how to get past a lie detector test.
Like George Costanza.
Yeah.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Right. I always felt that way. I feel like if I ever took a lie detector test, I'd probably be able to get through it. I have pretty good control of my heart rate. Right now it's 172 beats a minute. Here's another one that was pretty bad. Let's see if you remember this one. Do you remember The Chair?
I do vaguely remember it, and thinking of it, it sounds like, is it something like someone's being executed and we're going to have a game show? Like, how fast are they going to be executed? That's what I think of when I think of The Chair, like
The Chair,
someone's going to the chair.
It was hosted by John McEnroe. And from what I remember, I hope it's still here. Maybe it's still on my phone. But The Chair was to see how people would stay under pressure, like how cool people could stay under pressure. And it was another game where they were testing your heart rate and see the movement of that.
Recurring theme of heart rate.
Are there any other game shows that you remember as a kid or an adult that were just really awful? I have a story about Jackie Gleason. Jackie Gleason had a game show in the 50s. And it was so bad that he stopped in the middle of the show and was like, look, we can't keep on doing the show. It's too terrible. So they did one episode, and he canceled it, and he came on the next week and apologized because the show was so bad. That actually happened. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Well, I do remember my sister and I used to play Pictionary, and Win, Lose, or Draw was like Pictionary, the game show. But, the celebrities were on it, but like they're drawing, they're yelling things out. Like, they made a show from this. Like, it's like there was a Yahtzee game show. Win, Lose, or Draw was a game show. Card Sharks, like things about playing cards, When I watch things on, like you said about Alex Trebek, when I see him on the Game Show Network, there's a couple of games that he hosted. I have no idea what's happening. The rules are like impossible to follow. The contestants look like they're confused. And it's all pre-Jeopardy. It is like, you're right. It's why he shouldn't be doing this, because it's not Jeopardy. But it's like, I don't even know what's going on now. I couldn't even figure out to follow it. I forget what it was. There's more than one, I think, that he hosted before Jeopardy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, there probably was. He probably hosted other things, maybe even hosted the news when he was younger or whatever. I've no idea. He's dead now, though. He's not going to host anything anymore. That part's over. So, Ross, thank you so much for coming down today and chatting. Welcome back to America about the world's worst game shows of all time.
The bottom few of game shows.
Bottom 10. And we're going to have a lot of bottom 10s on Welcome Back to America. Ross and I are going to do a lot of bottom 10 lists and talk about the worst of things.
Too much talk about good stuff. We got to go everything. We got to go terrible. Bringing terrible back.
If you want to hear terrible conversations, come and listen to Ross and I. But thanks for coming down, and thanks for checking out Welcome Back to America. And we will be back right after these commercials, which pay for the show, I hear.
Me llaman Tan Pablo y hace más de 20 años me enamoré de una colombiana. Viajé a su país y conocí un estilo de café muy distinto, muy especial. Ahora tostamos cafés excelentes, con alturas y microclimas diferentes, resultado en una taza muy compleja y muy rica, un sabor nuevo en el mundo. Fue un éxito. And I even got to keep the girl.
Hey, out there in America land. This is Welcome Back to America. I am DB Frick. Not quite ready for Jihad players are on deck. Got a couple of guys here tonight who I've had the luck of doing some work with recently. They have this great game show that they're doing online. It's on a bunch of platforms. They're even doing some shows live in Manhattan at the Producers Club and a couple of other places that we'll talk about. But ladies and gentlemen, I got James Mack and Dr. D, both comedians out of New Jersey and New York and doing a lot of stuff. Thanks for coming down. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having us, man.
Thank you, DB.
And we're here mostly to talk about this game show that you have called Wingin It, which is advertised right behind you, James. And it's a weekly radio show that you both have been doing together. Dr. D hosts it and James produces it. And essentially, it's a bunch of comedians answering funny questions with funny answers, and very simple and really great and to the point. Where did you guys come up with the idea?
So Winging It, I have an overall production company called Headspace and Timing. And this is actually what Headspace and Timing started out as. It was a live show in Manhattan that I did. But basically the idea is the same thing. It's like Scenes from a Hat, if you've seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, or Mock the Week, which is a British show, which is closer to what I kind of formatted it as. Instead of doing improvisation, it's more stand-up comedy, but you're telling jokes quicker, and you have to think of your joke on your feet. So that's kind of where the term "winging it" came from. Also, was just thinking on top of your feet. So
how did you get into it, Dr. D?
Yeah, it was mostly James's idea. This is what happens: is James and I are very good friends, and James comes up with some ridiculous idea for a comedy show or something, and he goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "It sounds great," and then we go from there. It's kind of how it goes.
Oh, okay.
But James's creativity, I will say this, with his production stuff, sounds like I'm kissing his butt for spots, which I am. He tries to do different things rather than just straight stand-up. Now, he does produce some great just stand-up shows, but he did a thing a couple years ago with was it with Meg, James, the comedy Civil War thing?
Yeah, that was with Meg Felling. So that ended the month before quarantine started. Yeah,
and it was like it pitted like Brooklyn comics versus Queens comics and Harlem comics versus downtown Manhattan comics, and
Sure.
And then he's got another comedy show that he's producing now that is a competition where 4 comedians do 10 minutes, and then the winner gets to close out the show. And he started his own him and a few other guys started a festival a couple years ago. I'll break a little news. He's thinking about starting another one now. Maybe. I don't know where he is with that. But like I said, I just get texts about the ideas and say, that sounds great, James.
So you have a second game show that you're working on right now, James?
No, not another game. Well, it's not necessarily a game show. It's called Selection Comedy. And I do that in Astoria, Queens at McLaughlin's Bar the first Monday of every month. And what we do for that is you have 4 comics that go up and do 10 minutes. And then, I did basically the way I came up with it was, these are all comics that have to be able to do at least 20 minutes because if they get picked, they have to go on and do another 10. So I was like, you know what? I was like, one of the things that I've always said is I wonder how many closers or headliners would actually get picked by the crowd if they knew they had to perform and it wasn't just their crowd, like it was whoever shows up. Like, would they actually get picked? And we're putting that to the test. And so far, even our first show, some people got some rude awakenings. So
you've had a couple of live shows too of Winging It recently. I think you did it at different theaters. One was the Producers Club. Where was the other one?
So the other one was part of a show called Whiskey and Mints comedy extravaganza, I think is what he called it, extravaganza or something like that, variety show, whatever. And that was really cool. So we did that at the Bar None in Manhattan,
I know
in the back there. And everybody loved it. Like the other comics that were there, the improvisers, the regular crowd, they were like, "Wow, we've never seen somebody try and do this before."
Did you live stream it too?
No, we recorded it and then posted it out. So, just because like we always want the ability to edit it, because like for instance at that show, there was another comic that became an issue. So that was not part of us at all. He was just there. Yeah.
The live shows have been a lot of fun. The first one, and even the second one, we're still experimental with how we want to stage the live version of it. And some of it also depends on the venue. You know, some of these venues that you do places, they don't, we're trying to get 4 to 5 people on stage at once, and it's not always conducive to that. So we just have to sort of figure out. I mean, I don't know if you did theater, DB, or whatever, but I know you did television work and stuff. So really, the staging and the blocking, we're still really figuring out.
Now, how long have you guys known each other? Where did you meet?
About 3 years now.
Yeah, about 3 years.
And you're doing a tour together. You're sort of touring local areas like Connecticut, and you've got like 15, 16, something like that coming up. A lot of shows.
We're going up
It's
to
not that
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yeah.
we went up to Maine and Massachusetts a few weeks ago. We're going back up to Massachusetts for a few things. We actually sort of did have a tour scheduled for last April. I'm a teacher. During my spring break, we had scheduled a bunch of gigs out in like Western Pennsylvania and Ohio, and obviously that all got shut down. But yeah, we like to work together. We can stand each other's company, and we really can't stand anyone else's company, especially comedians.
Have you done, Dr. D? Have you done any other radio? As far as your voice, I'm sure you've been told before that you have a voice for radio.
I do. I did college. I did college radio, both like DJ, and I'm a big sports guy, so I did some sports shows in college. And then
I can hear that. I can hear you probably doing like a hockey or a baseball game.
Yeah. And about 10 years ago, well, initially I went to college and I wanted to be the next Marv Albert, except I didn't have as weird sexual proclusions as him.
That's the only part that I'd want.
Yeah. So I didn't make it far in the biz. But yeah, and then I actually did some guest sports radio spots down in South Carolina when I was living there after I had left a job that I was at. It's still something I would love to pursue. I did someone had like an online radio station. I did that for like 3 or 4 months, like every Thursday night, but I don't know if anybody listened.
Yeah, nobody's going to watch this either, so don't.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of game shows out there. I grew up on them. My experiences with game shows as a kid was sitting with my grandmother, who would just sit in front of the TV for hours and watch game shows all day. Press Your Luck, Price is Right, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. She watched everything. And what are some of your favorite game shows, James?
Honestly, like I'm a big trivia person, so I love like Jeopardy. I've actually tried out for. I made it all the way to the in studio test, and found out I am not as smart as I thought I was.
I've been in rooms with some of those people because I've tried out for other game shows, and the circuit has a lot of the same people that are constantly trying out for game shows, and the Jeopardy people are there's like a clique. It's like a Jeopardy clique.
But that process was really good. I like that. I like stuff like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like one of the other things is like even when I because I've lived a little bit everywhere, but like when I lived in Tucson, me and some buddies of mine would get together and we would place bets for at the end of the night. It's like, okay, whoever has the highest score gets the money. So
I like that. I would do that. How about you, Dr. D?
I come from a family of trivia buffs. It's kind of our thing, that and eating. But
we can put those together, trivia and eating.
Absolutely. So obviously a big Jeopardy fan, but like James said, any sort of trivia show. When we were in college, we loved to watch Win Ben Stein's Money.
Oh, great one.
again, sports guy, so I watched Sports Jeopardy when they had Stump the Schwab on ESPN. There was a great one that VH1 had in the early 2000s called Pop Culture Trivia. They had like 3 seasons of it, and it was awesome. And I could watch that all night long. But then I do like the classic game shows, the Match Game from back in the 70s. Match Game's always a fun. Anyone where those random 70s celebrities would get on, like
Paul Lynde.
Well, who?
Paul Lynde.
Yeah, Paul Lynde. Any game show Paul Lynde was on.
Yeah, I love those game shows from the 70s. They were very. There's such an undertone of sexual abuse.
Yes.
And there really isn't. It probably was, definitely. But
well, who was the guy that had the closet full of pornography? The guy from the Gong Show. What was his name?
Oh, Alan Funtz. No, that was the candid camera guy. I forgot his name, but
who was the Ron? Yeah. Wasn't it Ron something?
They did a movie about him.
Chuck Barris. Chuck Barris.
Yeah, he said he was a CIA agent.
Right, but he also had like a closet full of like explicit movies.
Okay, lucky him. What are some game shows that you hated? Like some game shows that you really think are bad?
I don't like dating game shows.
Okay,
they seem very hokey to me.
Yeah.
They always seem set up like they knew what was going to happen beforehand. So
I think that's the case. I still think that goes on in game shows today.
Oh yeah.
I still think that answers are given because there's too much money involved, and if they can have a champion who's going to garner a lot of audience, they're going to keep that champion on and do whatever they can.
Right.
So I think they still give answers out and stuff of that nature. Not on Wingin It though. We
no.
don't do that on Wingin It.
No, but the dating game and stuff like that, like there had to be like multiple retakes. Like, hey, that answer's boring. Just come up with something else.
Right. What's that one moment where it's got to be I forgot if it was the dating game.
It was the Newlywed Game where she said anal or whatever in the butt where had sex. Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable place to have sex.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that was in the 70s when anal wasn't as popular as it is now, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I knew the statistics on the popularity of anal sex in the 70s, but not as well versed as I'd like to be.
And I do love Family Feud, and I've loved every host on Family Feud for different reasons, including Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
See, I didn't like it when the dude from Tool Time took over.
Oh, Richard Karn?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. He was okay. There was a series of weren't there a couple of guys who killed themselves?
Oh yeah, Richard Janney.
Yep.
He killed himself.
Was it Richard Janney and
No, Richard Janney's a stand-up comedian.
No, what's the guy's name?
I don't know.
Anyway, he died though. He also did Supermarket Sweep.
Yes.
And he played Thurston Howell IV on the Gilligan's Island. That I can't remember.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Thurston Howell IV?
When what's his name couldn't really do it. They did one of those return episodes, and Thurston.
Yeah.
He was just in a wheelchair. It didn't really make sense because the Howells couldn't have had children while they were on the island. They were way too old.
Yeah.
She would have died in childbirth.
One would think, yeah. Maybe that's why they were on the cruise, was to get away from the kids.
Maybe that's a good point. They were from Locust Valley too, which is right out here on Long Island, and they really are like that.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's a circle of people that are.
Ray Combs,
yes,
and originally it was Richard Dawson, obviously, who was as creepy 70s sex pervert as there was.
Just lick everybody.
Yeah.
He licked everybody.
He wouldn't have been good in COVID times, Richard Dawson.
No.
The other one that I never liked. I never liked the one the Whammo or what with the little with the little monsters or whatever. Yeah. I never liked that because I was like that doesn't seem like there's any skill involved.
Well, no, you know about what happened with that show, right?
No.
Originally, there were only 4 patterns that went around, and a guy figured it out. He was like a math guy. He was like a poker guy, and he figured it out. And he went on there and won billions of dollars. Like he was the winningest champion of all time. And they figured out that he had figured out the pattern. And so then they made more, when they designed the game.
It's funny. That's all you have to do is figure out the pattern in almost anything, and you can break the
Yeah, the code. Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, I mean the people cheat. I mean you have that whole thing with what was it, the UK's version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where the guy had his wife in the crowd and she was like she would sneeze if it was like B or cough if it was C or whatever.
oh, that's interesting. I love cheating. I love hearing stories of cheating and people who get away with it. It's always awesome. As it is also awesome to have both of you here for this interview today. We do have to round it out now. Thank you guys for coming down. Where can people go to see you guys? Any dates or or when's the show coming up? I know you have the next season starting.
Yeah, so we started season 3. We had so the next episode we launch episodes every Wednesday. So this week we did not. So we had a slight technical issue, but it will be right back on track. But yeah, if you want to follow, the production company is called Headspace and Timing Comedy, and any regular comedy shows or anything that we're producing goes out on that. I have a couple co-producers as well, so it's not just me. And then if you just want to follow my comedy, it's James Mack Comedy. And then, of course, Wingin It is Wingin It Comedy on Facebook, Instagram, and any of our podcasts. So
Awesome. How about you, Dr. D?
Just find a buffet. I'll probably be there.
One more question.
okay.
What are you a doctor of?
Doritos.
Nice. Dr. Dorito.
The Dr. Doritos.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming down. This is Welcome Back to America. We'll be right back after these commercials. Please watch them, and please come back and watch the next time.
Holidays we should have, but don't. Holidays we should have, but don't. Like Anal Day. Should definitely have that holiday. Katie.
Well, that's easy. The Purge.
Dice.
It's February 13th. Happy Side Chick Day.
Jake.
Hey, we're going to sleep in late because it's Biscuits and Gravy Day.
Yes. Katie.
D-Day, but it's Decapitation Day, and it's where all of the public get to vote on which politician we're going to decapitate this year.
There's not enough years to have that holiday. Dice.
Happy Valentine's A for those that have no V or D in their life.
I love it. Jake.
Hey, this Thursday is Dachshund Day, so grab your wiener and come on out.
Katie.
Happy Porn Star Day. It's like Veterans Day, and we're celebrating all of the assholes who put their lives on the line.
Dice.
I don't know if y'all heard, but today is National Venmo, aka Dice $20 Day.
Jake.
We have celebrated his birth and his death, but we've neglected everything in between. This is Walk on Water Day, half price off at the water park.
I love it. Good job. That's true. We only celebrate his birth and his death. There's got to be like other stuff we can celebrate. Right?
Passover.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the episode. We had some interesting conversations about game shows. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
We've been doing this for a year now.
No.
Yeah, we're coming up on our 40th episode.
Wow.
On the end of our 4th season.
Wow.
Wow.
We might be doing some. We might be getting an interview with a mayoral candidate. We'll see how that goes along throughout the year. Yeah, that is exciting.
That's very exciting.
So yeah, check out Welcome Back to America, Mondays, 9 p.m. Strong Island Television, Strong Island Entertainment.
DB.
DB, Millie Michaels.
It's me.